You just inherited a six-figure IRA. You also want to buy a home. But here's the trap. Under the Secure Act 2.0, you have exactly 10 years to distribute that entire inherited IRA or face massive tax penalties. In this video, we'll show you the math behind whether you should prioritize the inheritance or the home purchase in 2026. Let's start with the legal reality. Under the Secure Act 2.0, if you're a non-spouse beneficiary of an IRA, you must fully distribute the entire inherited balance within 10 years of the original owner's death. That's the hard deadline. The old stretch IRA strategy, where you could spread distributions over your own lifetime, is gone. But here's where it gets more complicated. If the person you inherited from had already started taking required minimum distributions, you have an additional requirement. You must take annual RMDs in years 1 through 9, on top of that final year 10 distribution. This means you can't just sit on the money and let it grow. The IRS is forcing distributions, and that triggers immediate tax consequences. Knowing whether the original owner had begun RMDs matters significantly for your cash flow planning. Here's the financial trap. Every dollar you withdraw from an inherited traditional IRA is taxed as ordinary income at your marginal tax rate. Not capital gains, not qualified dividends. Ordinary income. Let me show you with a real example. Suppose you inherit a $300,000 traditional IRA. Your annual employment income is $85,000, and you're single. You're currently in the 24% tax bracket. In year 1, you're required to take a $30,000 RMD. That $30,000 gets added to your $85,000 employment income, pushing your total taxable income to $115,000. Suddenly, you're paying tax on higher income brackets. That distribution could cost you $10,000 to $20,000 or more in federal taxes alone, just in that first year. Over 10 years, if you're taking annual distributions from a large, inherited IRA, the total tax bill can be staggering. This is why the math matters so much when you're deciding whether to use this money for a down payment. Let's talk about the home purchase side. As of May 2026, according to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is between 6.36% and 6.47%. These rates have climbed sharply from earlier in the year when they dipped below 6% in February. The Federal Reserve has held the federal funds rate steady at 3.50% to 3.75%, and there are no rate cuts anticipated in the immediate future. Why? Because inflation is a problem. April 2026 inflation data showed the Consumer Price Index up 3.8% year over year, the highest in 3 years and well above the Fed's 2% target. This matters because mortgage rates are directly tied to inflation expectations. At a 6.36% rate, a $350,000 mortgage, roughly median given today's home prices, costs you about $2,120 to $2,155 per month. That same loan at 5.5% would cost roughly $1,988 per month. That's a difference of $130 to $170 every single month for 30 years. Now, the big question, are prices going to spike if you wait? The answer might surprise you. The median U.S. home sale price is $403,200 in Q1 2026, down from $423,100 a year earlier. That's a 4.7% decline in just 5 quarters. Home prices have actually cooled significantly from their pandemic-era peaks. According to Fannie Mae forecasts, prices are expected to rise just 2.4% in 2026. This isn't the narrative of rapid appreciation you heard from 2020 to 2023. The market has stabilized at lower levels due to higher mortgage rates and reduced bidding wars in most markets. So the buy now before prices skyrocket argument, the data doesn't support it. Prices are not rising sharply. If you're evaluating whether to rush into a home purchase to avoid missing out on appreciation, the numbers suggest that's not the pressure you should feel in 2026. Here's the critical calculation. Let's say you inherited a $400,000 traditional IRA from a parent who had begun RMDs. Your required year-one RMD is $35,000. Your employment income is $90,000. You're single and planning to buy a home. Scenario A. You take only your required $35,000 RMD and use $20,000 from savings for your down payment. Your taxable income becomes $125,000. At 2026 tax rates, you'll owe approximately $18,200 in federal taxes on that inherited distribution, an effective rate of about 14.6% on just that inherited portion. Scenario B. You take an extra $30,000 beyond the RMD, totaling $65,000, to fully fund your down payment from the inherited IRA. Now, your taxable income is $155,000. The tax bill jumps significantly. The rule here is simple. Only take the minimum distributions required by law, plus additional amounts only if they'll be taxed at a lower rate than your current bracket. Never accelerate distributions solely to fund a down payment. The tax cost almost always exceeds any mortgage interest savings. This is a complex decision, and the numbers are different for everyone. Head to the article link in the description to see the full decision-making framework, including step-by-step guidance for calculating your 10-year tax liability. We've cited all the sources: the IRS, Freddie Mac, the Federal Reserve, and more. If this video helped you think through inherited IRAs and home purchase timing, subscribe for more grounded, numbers-based personal finance content. Thanks for watching.